Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live here on the Tony Gomez Show. We're going to get Preston Hicks on here, and we are going to get the show on the road. Man, I tell you, sometimes we're going to have some technical difficulties, but I'm so glad you guys are tuning back in. I'm about to get Preston on here. I just sent him a new link. There we go. Let's see how this goes. Boom. Oh, no. Where you at? He was just, there we go.
Hello, hello, hello.
There you are, brother.
There we go, bro. Let's go.
I'm telling you, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for your patience, Preston. I'm glad we got the show on the road. How you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm doing great. I switched over from my Mac to my PC, so I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, dude, maybe this streaming service doesn't like Macs, but we'll roll with it.
Sometimes things work like that, dude. You know what I mean? Macs and regular PCs, they've got their favorites that are just super friendly with each other.
100%.
So you had to work tonight?
What's up?
You had to work tonight?
Sure did, but we're out. I'm here. I'm ready to party, man. Let's go.
Yes, all right. What happened to Ella and Jacob?
They should be here. They're gonna need the new link actually. So I'll send that to them real quick.
Okay, cool. Send that to them real quick. And while you're doing that, I want to mention, it's already been like 2 years since you guys started breaking the ice and came out with Army of Me. You know, that release, that was back in November of 2022.
Oh, yeah, we're coming up on a 2-year anniversary. It's wild.
I know already. We're a month away on that. And it's how quickly things can progress and go by in a band, gigging and getting the material down, recording an EP, doing a few singles like that. A lot happens within a short amount of time when you're hungry like you guys are.
Oh, yeah, man. It flew by. There was definitely a time where me and Ella, even just me by myself, honestly, because before me and Ella even put together MOA, I was working on songs, trying to get another band off the ground with Josh, who's going to be joining us. And I mean, dude, we've had collectively, me and Josh probably have a number of songs that at some point for me, I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm ever going to bring these. I don't know if I'm ever going to see live, honestly. Just a lot of, ups and downs and a lot of projects that don't come through. And even when me and Ella started and we were putting together songs, it was there was even a point where I'm like, I don't know, we just got to get a drummer and then we can at least play live if we needed to. But yeah, time flies in just, 2 years and not even playing shows for a year already. Just a lot has happened.
I know what you mean. Ella, welcome to the show. Good to see you again.
Hi, nice to see you. Sorry, there's a lot of trouble.
I'm very relieved that you got great audio coming in right to this at the beginning, because me and Preston had a few difficulties, but we are gold now. Great to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
And we were just breaking the ice. Preston was just breaking the ice over the past couple of years. How things have evolved for you guys, and I'm very impressed on how the great material has been able to come out within such a short amount of time. And
really.
So, like he was mentioning, he's got some material between him and Josh. So maybe I might have lost a little bit of the focus right there, but I was trying to bring her in there. But do you have material that you were referring that was waiting for MOA, or may come out sooner come out on a different kind of project with you and Josh?
No. So in the beginning, I've known Josh for a while, and there was a point where me and him were meeting up regularly and we were writing songs for another project that we were trying to start. And then that never came through. But some of those songs did end up transitioning over to being MOA songs.
Great.
Because I envisioned heavy vocals, breakdowns, this is what I want to play live. And then, Ella shows up and just, starts doing metal vocals. And I'm like, oh, shit, this might be a thing. And I mean, Josh joined a little bit later on, but some of the songs that we have in our catalog are written from years ago.
No shit. All right.
Yeah.
What, maybe something like Rebirth, which came on, after that?
Rebirth was our very first song ever written for MOA.
Wow.
So
Kick-ass.
what happened with that one was she was over at my apartment, and I was working on Rebirth at the time, and it was just a demo. It was a baby song, and at some point, from what I remember, she was like, "Hey, can I write vocals for this?" And at the time, I was like, "I mean, yeah, sure. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but have fun with it. Maybe it's good. It's good practice for because at the time she was getting into vocals." And at some point, she brought in, I think, like we recorded some melody lines or some screams or something. And when I heard it back, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, immediately I saw the vision, and I was like, "We gotta, actually do this." And yeah. So not a lot of people know that Rebirth is truly the birth of literally the band.
That first one, and there's always something about that first song, for better or for worse, that is the first one where the magic started coming together. And, when I think about my latest band, Work Cult, I think the first song we did was a song called Terrorize, and it really wasn't one of my favorites. I got some other favorites, but it's just the way kind of things, end up going down, I guess, as things progress. But, after that, we talked about Rebirth, hit Army of Me. And, the latest offering right now is Through the Ether. And loving going through that, doing my research is, right before we're getting ready to rock and roll. And the production on that just came out awesome, man. I really love the production. Where did all that happen at?
Literally in these headphones, dude. Like, so. Yeah. At the time when we were recording, I was living and working at the machine shop in Austin. And, love Machine, and the perks with getting to work with him is that if you're living there and looking after the place, you kind of have the studio to yourself until he has a session to come in. So so at some point I was like, yo guys, like, let's book a date, or like book a week or a weekend or whatever, and just knock out the 4 or 5 songs that we had. And it was so much fun, dude. Like, we just came out, cooked out, drank. Our photographer came out, and he's a fucking nut, dude. So we were just having a blast recording, and then after the fact, that was when I started mixing. But I had moved back to San Antonio, and I just was mixing in the headphones because that's just what I've been so used to. Yeah. And so it honestly just all happened in here, and checking it in the car, just
that process
just loops, man.
Right. Oh man. And sometimes that can be somewhat burdenous, and you definitely can get burned out, especially being in your shoes when you're the one that's, trying to get that magic right there where it needs to be. But it's all well worth the time, and it's just a necessary kind of thing in the process that you got to knock out, man. But what a blessing, man, that you can make it all happen yourself like that independently.
Yeah. I feel like I annoy the hell out of Ella and maybe Josh, because like they'll be like, okay, it sounds good, and then like I listen to it and I'm like, oh man, I don't know, dude, like the snare or the kick's just not hitting. But they're like, dude, it was fine. But like, I don't know, I just have like this perfectionist mentality. But funny story is when we finally released it, or like actually about maybe a month or so prior to us releasing it, the Bluetooth in my car, like just any way to check my mix in the car, I just lost the ability to do it. Shit. So I didn't have any really like solid way to check my mixes other than like a few Bluetooth speakers and, whatever. But I was like, I don't know what it's going to sound like in my car and her car. Yeah. So I was like, we're coming up on a date that we want to release it at. So I just have to like trust my gut and just hope I make the right decisions to satisfy the pickiness in my brain, right? Yeah. And the day that we released, I want to say it was either Unspoken or the EP. I think it was the EP. The day we released it, for some reason the Bluetooth in my car just started working again, and I was able to listen to it, and I was like blown away. I was like, it was almost like I was listening to it for the first time, like how I love listening to music in my car. And from doing most of the other productions of our songs except Rebirth, it's easily my proudest work so far.
Oh man, and it sounds fucking amazing. I love that
Thank
production.
You.
It's hard. It hits hard.
It is.
Man. Hell yeah. Very fucking cool. Well, let's talk about some of those songs. I want to kind of rehash some of this. It's still so fresh, man. Just June. It still just can't. It's only been out a little bit, and it hits hard as fuck on Unspoken right from the start, man.
Yes.
And then it takes to it slows down a bit, and then from then it just gets fucking slow but heavy. It never loses its heaviness, and then it really goes into some nice, really clean vocals from Ella. So I really love the way that hits, and then it has a spot where it kind of builds back up, and then it has that hard as fuck ending, man. Unspoken really fucking bangs. Nice choice for a single for that.
Yeah, real quick. So Josh says he's in the backstage area if you want to check to see if he's there.
Okay, let me see.
But yeah, so when we were initially, yo, what's up, Josh?
Josh, welcome to the show.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Hell yeah. All right. You can hear everybody. Yeah. Fuck yeah. If you got some light, I can maybe use a little light, unless you prefer the dark. It's all good.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
All right. Whatever you're comfortable with. Okay.
When we were discussing, the order of the EP, and initially, like for me, Storm was gonna be the intro. Like I had this drawn out intro.
Okay.
And at the time, way back then, Storm was gonna be the intro to the EP. But then when we recorded it and we got it all done, and we were kind of discussing the order, I was like, everybody kind of agreed that like Unspoken just hits and is just like just off to a great start. And it's like, we don't need no drawn out intro. Let's just fucking kick ass, like just right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And we actually just played a show starting with Unspoken for I think the first time, and it just it's just a great starter.
It is a great starter. Fuck yeah, great choice. And when you're putting music together like that, getting the lineup for the listener to enjoy, it can be a bitch. You know, and sometimes it can be a little tug of war between members. Like, nah, man, this one is a little bit. I want this one to go first, or this is a better closer. And it's worth the effort, man, because, even back when Metallica would release their stuff, I would always listen to like the first three. And the first three always seemed to have some sort of similarity to them, especially as you start going into when they were doing their ballads. You always had that ballad, song number 5 on the first side of the record, whether it's Unforgiven or Sanitarium or Fade to Black. Mm-hmm. And it started to become predictable to a certain extent. But having that song order really makes that EP fucking go off. And Unstoppable was a great fucking choice to make that happen, man. Having Joseph on drums, man, is a very powerful force, man, to have him in your band. I love his drumming. I would see him first with Violent Practice, and I could just tell, man, he's not just he's a fucking super phenomenal drummer, man. And I'm anxious to see where else he takes his drumming, because he looks at things a different way, and I think that's why he's such a great drummer for you guys, because you guys are unconventional, untraditional. And I wanted to mention, it seems like the songwriting formulas aren't your traditional where it's like an intro, verse, chorus, a solo, verse, chorus, and you're out of there. There's different kind of arrangements going on. Who kind of came up with like the production and the arrangements of the, say for instance, the riffs or the music coming together?
I wouldn't say like it's one of us over the other. It just kind of happens naturally. I've started to learn that I personally have habits of like how I arrange a song, and but I do that in a lot of like newer songs right now. But a great example would be Unspoken and Ripped. They have a very similar structure where it's like super heavy intro, singy chorus or singy section, and then a bridge that kind of dies it back down to like bring it to the top at the very end. Like they literally mimic each other. And that was Victor with the first half of those two songs. So Victor brought Unspoken and Ripped to the table, and he's like, I don't know where to go with after this spot. And so I was like, okay, let me see what I can do. And I basically did the outros for those two songs. So they're kind of like, in a way, the same song, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. Like with Ascended, I always describe it like it kind of mirrors itself, where like you have the intro riff, and then it hits really hard, and then the chorus, but then it goes to like chorus, intro riff, and then it goes to like the breakdown. It's like a weird way that I've kind of like, I don't know, it just flowed naturally when we were writing it in the studio.
Yeah, it does flow naturally like that. Mm-hmm. And that's why, I wouldn't really recognize it, but maybe it's just because of my background, but yeah, I do have a tendency to do that typical verse, chorus, and even still when I'm writing, I always everything's kind of got a rhyme. I try and keep things, very, very easy to memorize. And maybe it's just my old school ways and all my lyrics that I've always done, but that's what got my attention about the way you guys have put things together, because it's so untraditional and unpredictable. And it just kept me wanting to, it always keeps that listener just ready for the next transition or the next, progression of the song. And great stuff. Loving it all.
Thank you, man. I will say one last thing, and then maybe Ella can chime in on this, because it was a mutual decision. And that's with Storm. It was much longer and had, I think, maybe 1 or 2 repeating spots. I don't remember. It's been so long. But we decided to trim it down because there was just a lot of like extra shit that we didn't need, or she wasn't feeling vocally. So we literally sat there and we literally just chopped up the song, and we were like, that sounds cool. But that song literally has no repeating parts at all. But for a while she was like, man, this is a hard song to write lyrics to or write vocals to. If you want to dive in on that.
Ella, was that a tricky one?
Yeah. Like you said, it was longer, but I rewrote lyrics for that song 5 times. Like I redid the lyrics for that song 5 times. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if it's me. Maybe I just suck right now, but maybe we should do something to the song to like maybe spark a little something different in here. So yeah, we just kind of like shortened it, moved some stuff around, and it finally worked out whenever we finally decided on a certain just a way that we did it. I was like, okay, I think this is better, and it just flowed a lot easier after like 5 times of writing it. The lyrics just kind of came a lot faster.
Hell yeah. Well, you're just carving your way through perfection on that song. And sometimes it may need 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, 6 times to get the lyrics right where you need to be banging on that. And for a song like that, that's really interesting how it doesn't have any kind of repeats. It just kind of keeps on moving through different chapters of the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's tight. I like that. When I talk about referring to Storm, fucking heavy fucking drums, man. And that's what makes this one of my favorites, along with Unspoken as well. Is and the kick drum beats that Joseph changes on this, and then when he hits like those speed beats where it's kind of like a thrashy beat going on, it just really punches and breaks throughout the whole song, and the vocals are just fucking heavy duty throughout the whole thing. So I know why it was kind of like a tug for that Storm also being an intro song, because it's got so much greatness to it that really shows a lot of your strengths. So having Unspoken was still, I think, a winner.
Yeah. I think so too. I still think so. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad we went with that instead of opening up with the long ass intro and then into Storm. It's like, nah, man, let's just get to the point. Fuck it.
Fuck yeah, I know that's the way it should be. Because sometimes you really want to get that bang, get that first impression, and it's like, wow, fuck yeah, you want it. You can't wait to hear more and more. And I kind of, I'm in another band called Annihilator, and we got an album we just released a couple of singles, and I feel like my bassist is really the leader of the band. So whatever he wants to go with, I'm gonna back up. But we got a couple of songs that are so different from each other, and I was kind of hoping one was gonna make the single, and it didn't. So it was kind of a ball buster, but nevertheless, every track was great. But what can I say? Well, we have our favorites, when we're putting it together. What was your favorite, Preston, from the album?
Man, that's really hard. Honestly, it's like it's a tie between Unspoken or Ascended.
Ascended, yeah.
Those 2 songs just hit, and I love the outros because they're just drawn out, heavy, just unbelievable. But real quick, just to like tag back, we did actually have a song that we ended up scrapping from the EP.
No shit.
Yeah. Me and Ella were sitting there. We were trying to write vocals for it, and we were just like, "Yo, this song like just ain't cutting it. Like something about it." And so we just put it on the back burner for now. But it happened to us too, man. But to like circle back, like yeah, for me, it's a really hard decision between Unspoken or Ascended.
How about you, Ella? What's your favorite track on the EP?
Man, I'm taking into consideration also like the writing process of it, like as far as lyrics go. And I feel like same thing, Unspoken and Ascended, because those came so fast, the lyrics for those ones. But it's really hard. But you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Unspoken. Just because I really like the clean part. There's a lot more singing in it, and I like that. But I really like the chorus for Ascended. I like that part a lot, and like just the way it ends as well. But yeah, I'd probably say Unspoken.
Hey, your clean parts on Unspoken they shine. I mean, you really are shining on those parts right there. So big props right there. Great song, great performance on that one.
Thank you.
Josh, what do you think? What's your favorite on there?
I think if I'm if I'm listening to the record, I'd say Ascended is probably the most catchy like song that sticks in my head the most, mainly because of that chorus. In a live situation though, when we're playing, the energy's going, I gotta go with Storm probably. Like you said, the thrashy drums, the heaviness, you know, it just hits, it slams, people go crazy. I dig
that's what we like too, man.
Yeah.
That and that comes to the next thing I wanted to mention is the live performance that you guys put on is fucking hard, man. I love the performance. It's going hard. There's a lot of, it seems like you got some production going on, like you put some real effort into making sure, hey, we want to look good while we're executing this shit. Here's some great parts that, you know, to take advantage of, to really sing together. And it goes off, man. I really fucking love the power. We did that show over at Boozers. You guys came off great. And, you know, the feedback that I was hearing from a lot of my friends was they loved it. They thought Ella sounded fantastic and the band sounded heavy as fuck. So, you know, hopefully you guys will be back here pretty soon where we can do something else again. Because I know we got a lot of love for you guys over here. But when it comes to the live performance, I'm glad that you put a lot of emphasis on making it a powerful show. Mm-hmm. and making it energetic. That's what I want to see when I go see a band.
Exactly.
And I think when the music gets you like it is, and when you're delivering the great jams like you are, it's kind of easy to let it flow for you guys. And but sometimes for everybody, it doesn't always flow. It isn't something that comes naturally for some. But you guys make it click as a band on there, and you look good, and you come off like fucking pros. So big props. Is there
Thank you. Yeah.
Is there a band maybe that during rehearsal you're like, hey, dude, when fucking As I Lay Dying, when they get to that fucking one part, everybody's doing the fucking windmills. Man, we need to have a part like that. Is there a band that you maybe had seen that you thought was, had that shit down?
I think that's honestly what we do when we write songs. We just reference the bands that we love, and we're just like, yo, I think going from here, we need a part like this. And then me and Josh will be like on Spotify, we're pulling up like Shadow of Intent. We're like, okay, how they're doing this, like we got to do something similar or whatever. I've said it a million times and I'll say it until I die. I mean, for me, like Fit for an Autopsy, like I love those dudes, and they inspire me so much. Yeah. So if anything, like I have a lot of that blood in me. But yeah, no, we just, when we're rehearsing or writing, it's very much that way. Like, we need a part like this, man, or sometimes I'm even thinking to like a live show. Like long ass time ago, me and Ella went to go see, I think it was Chelsea Grin. I forgot who else was on the bill, but when Chelsea Grin played, like, I'm standing there, I'm just looking at the gear that they have. They got the X32 rack, they got production elements, and I'm like, when we start putting our show together, like, that's what we're kicking out the gate with. We're not gonna play with just guitars, drums, and bass and vocals. Like, no, dude, like we need to build our backtracks. We need to build our backtracks. We need to have the 808 drops. We need to have all the extra shit that just makes it that much bigger.
Yeah.
Like that was like the mission statement when we started putting this together live, and yeah, it's been pretty fucking sick. Josh has a huge part of building the live show too, because how I was gonna do it was kind of wrong, like really wrong. And then Josh showed up and was like, "Hey, yo, like we can't route it like this. We got to do it like this." And I was like, "Cool, man. If you want to take it over, please." Because
how did you know about that, Josh? Have you done that in the past in maybe another band?
No, but I draw heavy inspiration from some bands. The main one that comes to mind is Periphery.
All right.
So they have all their production elements in a session on the laptop, and they run all that through front of house and separate to the in-ears and all that stuff. But yeah, that's basically what we do. We have a master session with all the songs, all the synths, all the extra guitar parts, the bass, the drops, everything. And it's all mixed in our ears our own way. And then it gets sent to the front of the house, and that guy can do whatever he wants with it. It's pretty cool.
Very fucking cool. That's where we're at today, man. And for you guys already being right on top of things like that, no wonder the fucking shows are coming off killer. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and man.
That's great that you have that edge, man, because, you know, to take it from where you're at to that next level right there, not many bands are thinking that way. You know, they're just not. They're just not. So that already gives you that fucking big time edge, not only show wise, but even in the studio. Because thinking about that is like, how is this going to translate when we do it live? Maybe we need to come out harder. Maybe it may need a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. But it gets you already envisioning all these things. And I think that's what's special about what you guys have got, is that it's very unique, where almost every song is going to have its own life of its own, where it's not going to kind of mimic anything that's been done before in your previous writing. Just because I think you just have a vision where it's going to be its own anomaly as each song ends up getting written, as things keep progressing. And thinking about, you know, the songwriting, who's writing most of the lyrics for the band?
That's all Ella.
That's all Ella. Mm-hmm. And Ella, where is there a particular something that you get a lot of inspiration from? Anything out there?
Oh, of course. That's why I really like raw speaking vocalists. Like, they're very, how do I say this? There's just certain artists that know how to say universal things. And then there's some artists that kind of say things just to say them, if that makes any sense. And like to me, like Bjork knows how to do that. Brutus knows how to do that. That's like one of the newer artists that I've been listening to. And that's what I like paying attention to, is the lyrics, because not everybody can make simple words sound so loud, like emotionally. So like that's what I like. And so I draw a lot of inspiration from like Bjork, Brutus, and whatever they listen to, I listen to, because I want to see, okay, how did they get to that point? How did they get that way of thinking? You know what I mean? So you have to like do your little research and try to listen to other artists, and like, and it's crazy because it's always the artists that don't have that attention or like fame that they deserve. You know what I mean? Because like those are the ones that I think are hardest to understand, or hardest to like connect with, because sometimes people just don't have that openness to let themselves connect with lyrics like that. I think that's like the biggest issue right now. Is like people are not letting themselves be that open to like connect with things. So like that's what I want to try to do, is just try to like be as universal as I can with my lyrics, so that it's easiest for it to like hit somebody, like, oh, to like think something, you know. So
it'll be so easy for. I get your point. So that way it's so universal, or it's so easy to relate to and to pick up right there in the first time around.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like
Very cool. And you know
knowing
what?
how to, sorry, just to like real quick, but like
Yeah.
just um knowing how to use your own experiences, because when you start, putting your own experiences, that's when people start to understand you more. Because the more personal it is, the more relatable it is. So
Yes, exactly. Because, all of us have so many, we have more things in common, all of us, than our differences. And, I work in a university, and I work with at least about 75 to 100 people every day. And I'm one of the supervisors. So I deal with all kinds of international folks, as well as my Corpus Christians. And so there's a lot of um, diversity. There's so much um, to work with. So universally, I need to be able to relate on a common ground with everybody. So I know exactly what you mean by be speaking a language everybody can understand the first time around. And there's a lot of mainstream that kind of puts it out there in a way where it's kind of cookie cutter Mickey Mouse. But then you got artists like you say, York, who are underrated, that never really got that big love or that big huge I don't know, maybe enough Grammys, or never, maybe not enough attention for a lot of the great work that was put out. So it's just like Army and Me. You know what I mean? With you guys taking that under your wing like that, it's like, you know what? I'm fucking gonna show some love and put this thing out and fucking crush it. And um, there's a lot of underground artists that are out there that have that are out there trying to get that same message across. And I understand where you're coming from, Ella, and I just hope you keep on keeping it fresh and keeping it fire like that. I want to hear more. As I was looking on Spotify, sometimes you can get the lyrics on there. Do you have the lyrics on the CD?
I don't think so.
I don't think
we
so.
do.
No.
Because sometimes when you go hard, it's a little hard to kind of make out some of that as you're going down. But I'd love to be able to see some of the poetry you have, some behind these songs, because the songs are so powerful and have so much passion, and the way you're delivering vocally, whether it's clean or just going hard as fuck, is done with just expertise. And I just know there's great things that are coming, in the future for just a very young band who just only got a couple of years under the belt. So still very excited. Let me talk about something else. Do you guys got any shows coming up?
Oh yeah, the fall is pretty stacked right now for sure.
When are you going to be your next appearance?
I'm gonna have to pull up the calendar 1 second.
That's a good problem. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we got one in November on the 2nd at Come and Take It in Austin.
Hell yeah.
And then we have one November 15th actually here in town, San Antonio. And then we have that following weekend, one in McAllen, and then another one back here in town the day after. So
yeah.
November 22nd, 23rd. So November's looking pretty good. And then we have 2 shows in December towards like the middle/end. Yeah. So, I mean, we're pretty stacked, and hopefully, have some fucking good ass times.
Hell yeah. I'm sure you guys are, man. But hopefully it doesn't take too long before we can squeeze in a Corpus Christi date in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're definitely trying to get back out to Corpus soon. For sure.
Good, man. I'll see what I can do. Sometimes I'm able to put together a show, but luckily I've just had so much going on where I'm able to fill in the blanks. So it's a good problem to have. I got a lot of things going on between now and Christmas, and I do a couple of benefits for here in town. One for the food bank, and another one for the guitar programs for our local school district. And so those are just 2 big things that I love doing each year. So I love to be able to give back. And, other than that, Annihilator keeps me busy. I got War Cold. I got this other cover band, Fistful of Metal. But I love what I'm doing. But I want to be able to catch one of your gigs. I think either one of those gigs going to be in San Antonio, going to be at one of my favorite spots, Bonds.
Oh man, we got some news for you, buddy.
All right.
Josh, do you want to unfortunately take these honors or take the dishonor?
Yeah, there's no shows for us at Bonds right now.
What the fuck?
Unfortunately, it's a really sad story because I've been playing there for going on 10 years, but they are going to be closing doors at the end of the year, I believe.
No.
At least the upstairs. Downtown San Antonio is blowing up, and from what I heard, someone bought the building, and they're going to put a crazy nice hotel in that spot, I guess.
Oh shit! Juan's gonna sell it.
I'm not sure who's selling it, who's buying what, but that's what I saw recently.
Yeah, they made a Facebook post today saying that, like, you know, they're gonna be closing their doors, and I looked earlier, it was like 600 and something messages. I mean, like, dude, the metal community and just music community in general, dude, is heartbroken.
So
you
wanna swing by.
That's a tough road. So what's the next place, would you say, in your opinion, is the next best thing to Bonds there?
Dude, I have a feeling people are going to start flocking to either Vibes or Paper Tiger.
It's pretty tough because Bond's been around for a long time. And I don't know, there's just something about the community that goes to Bonds that I feel like isn't anywhere else. Especially like whether it's the staff or the people that are actually there, everyone's like family. And I feel like some of the other venues in town kind of lack that Vibes and like Rock Box and stuff. They're a little bigger, so they bring a little more national acts and stuff. So those are like concerts, but like your local neighborhood rock bar where you just want to drink some beers, maybe get shoved a little bit and have some fun, you know. It's pretty tough to replace Bonds, in my opinion.
Yeah, every show we honestly, like, some of our most packed shows are at Bonds. Even like like we love playing at Come and Take It in Austin, but they're not nearly as packed as Bonds. I mean, Bonds will be from like the front of the stage to the back of the bar, like you know. So there's like a Bonds community that's like now are gonna seek refuge, and it's like I don't know where we're going, man, but it's unfortunate news today, dude.
It is, man. That's a ball buster. You know, so much love to Juan Bond and the whole family over there at Bond's Rock Bar. From everybody here on behalf of me and everybody here in Corpus, man. We have so much love for Bond's Rock Bar. And it's always packed there, man, because everybody knows no matter what time, after whatever show's going on, you end up at Bond's, and it's always fucking going to be a rocking time. Always great friends and always familiar faces. And, you know, the staff is always the best. They've always taken good care of me and my bands that have gone up there. And just when I think I think San Antonio is probably the metal capital of Texas. You know, Houston's great, Dallas is great, but when it comes to shows here in Corpus, I've always had to go to San Antonio for great shows. You know, I'm sure Austin gets their share and all that shit, but San Antonio's got an edge just like Corpus Christi does. And when I say that, it's here in Corpus, whenever Slayer plays, there's always a fight. Whenever Biohazard plays, there's always a fight. Everybody they're ready to fight, man. And so I go to San Antonio, and it's not quite as fighty, but there's more camaraderie, and it's just everybody always comes out, man. They always have, and it's always a thrill for me whenever I get to play San Antonio, because I'm more of a weekend warrior since I got my full-time day job. And pretty much I'm able to stay busy on the weekends just doing cover gigs and tribute bands and shit like that. So, you know, everything's kind of served its purpose, and that's all fine and dandy. But shit, we're going to miss Bonds. We're going to miss Bonds. So where are you going to be playing when you have your gigs there coming up, like in November?
So the first one's Come and Take It. One of them's going to be Happy Place in here in town. And then
Fitzgerald's killer. I hear that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool spot.
All right.
We got the Amp Room in December, and then the Paper Tiger. Yeah.
So we're just the old rabbit.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. Hell yeah. Where was I at? I think I saw. Well, I was there with Annihilator when we played with Dismember not too long ago. Man, that was a fucking great show. So thinking about October, it's Halloween season. Do either of y'all love horror movies or
Oh
maybe
yeah,
science fiction movies?
yeah. I'm not like a fanatic like some people are, but
Yeah.
I do love horror movies and science fiction. Like recently, I've been on an alien kick. I've just been
Did you see
watching,
Romulus?
dude. Yeah,
It was
bro,
killer, right?
that shit's fucking insane.
Man, it was fucking insane. Hell yes. All right.
So
So,
I've been rewatching the Alien movies and
uh-huh.
actually watching some of these for the first time too. But that's been my kick recently.
What's your favorite? Now that you've seen Romulus, you've seen a few of the old ones. What's your favorite one so far? The Alien.
The first one by far, I feel is like the birth of the Vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody knew where it was going. Nobody knew what it was gonna be, but they just get like this weird German dude who's got some really wicked, sick art, and then they just made a fucking horror film out of it. And I mean, the chest burster scene is just, come on, it's iconic.
Fuck yeah. For the time when it came out, I saw it, at the movie theater when it first came out, and fuck, dude, I love that kind of shit because I've always been in horror movies and in the science fiction, whether it's Star Wars or Aliens and shit like that. So, seeing Romulus and seeing how well it was fucking done was awesome. I love the piecing of where that fits into the timeline of things. I thought it was awesome, man. So, Ella, tell me, do you have a vibe for horror movies or science fiction?
I
Or you
can
prefer?
appreciate a good horror movie. Yes, I don't. I feel like there's too many cheesy, like cliche ones out there. Too many, but like the really good ones, yes. Like I love Insidious, love all of those movies. I love man, like I like the classic ones, The Exorcist, Halloween. I like
Oh
the
yeah.
old ones. Those are good
Yo,
ones. Yeah.
Hereditary.
Oh yeah, to bring that
Yeah,
one up.
that's a
That's
good
kind of
one.
traumatizing. That was a
Dude.
fucked up movie right there.
Psychological horrors are ones that I like. Yeah.
Psychological horrors.
I think-
That was definitely the way to put Hereditary right there.
Yeah,
The
I
scene
think,
where the brothers puts his head out the window and holy
Dude,
fuck. I didn't see
the-
that coming at all.
that movie, I
Oh,
think,
shit.
right now for me holds the title of my favorite horror movie like ever. Is Hereditary.
That is killer. That's a killer scene. So what would you say, Ella, was your last good horror movie you saw?
Man, I don't know if it's considered horror, but Barbarian. Yeah, have you seen that one?
Barbarians.
I would consider
I
it
think-
horror.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a really good movie because it had a crazy like plot twist. Like everything
Yeah.
was just so unexpected. That was a really good movie. I really like that one.
I haven't seen that. I'm gonna have to see that. All right.
It's really, really good. You're gonna be hooked like right away. It's good. Yeah.
All right. Kick ass. So Josh, what do you think? Do you dig horror, science fiction?
I'm not honestly like in the movie game. I'm really late on things, but recently, a couple months ago, we watched the first couple Saw movies, and at
Oh,
the end of the
shit.
first one, sorry, spoilers, but when Jigsaw is like in the middle of the room, he just gets up.
Yep.
After he's playing dead the
Mhm.
whole time, he just gets up and
Yeah.
walks away. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
Like that movie
Actually,
is
never
crazy.
mind. Yeah, that one's a good one.
That movie's crazy. And one I saw a couple years ago was Midsummer. That movie, it's like about the some festival they have in like Sweden or something. They like do crazy sacrifices and jump off cliffs and stuff. If you
Oh,
haven't seen
fuck.
that one, it's weird, but like crazy. It's like psychological, like, kind of like Ella was saying.
Man,
It is
my
a- it
son's
is
been trying to get
A24.
me to watch that.
Yeah,
is
check that one
A24.
out.
Wow. Okay, Midsummer. I was like, to me, it didn't have anything that really was like, ooh, I got to see that. But I knew it had something psychological going on, and a friend of mine had told me it was really good too. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll give it a shot. And so, okay, Josh, I'm gonna have to do that one.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay, so Halloween season, man. I love this time of year. Do any of y'all still trick or treat?
Yeah.
I
I
wish.
do.
I wish.
I do.
All right.
I've been
Hell
working every Halloween for like the past 8 years. So
yeah. Preston, how about you? When's the last time you trick? How old were you when you stopped?
I'm 25 now, so the last time I did, I was 24.
Oh shit. Hey,
Yeah.
Halloween is such a great time, especially if you have a gig. You know, the Halloween weekend, everybody's out in costumes and stuff, and it's definitely part of metal. I think Halloween's definitely the metal holiday if we have any out there.
That
And
and you know, like honestly, like aside from Halloween, I mean, when else are kids outside having a good time? You know what I
oh,
mean?
for real,
Like
fuck yeah,
there's a house on Ella's Street that they just go insane. Like last year they went insane, and the front of their yard was just nothing but like alien blow ups, like blow
whoa,
up alien dolls and like
hell yeah.
UFOs abducting cows. Like, dude, people get creative, and like that's another thing. It's like I feel like Halloween is a time where like, you know, kids go out and just have fun for a night. People get creative and just start throwing together fucking murder scenes in their front yard. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
like just, you know, make your own horror film in your head in your yard or something. Like it just gets people hyped and pumped. I think it's a fucking amazing thing. And then of course it ties into metal so easy. So that's a plus for all the metalheads.
Yes, fuck yeah. We got some, some classics out there from King Diamond and Misfits, titled
Mhm.
Halloween right there, So
I mean, I went as Mick Thompson from Slipknot like in high school. So I literally had a white Ibanez guitar and everything. So
oh shit.
yeah, dude.
Tight. Fuck yeah. Love Mick, man. That guy's a monster on stage.
Hmm.
Holy shit. Love that shit. Love it all. Love it all. So, all right. So, is anybody dressing up this year? You guys, any plans for to go out and dress up?
Yes.
I don't have any.
Down, right?
I don't have any plans yet for the end of October, but last year I was a Skyrim mage, so I don't know. I might do something
Oh
along the same
shit.
lines or something.
Okay. How
I'm
about
gonna
you,
go-
Alan? What are you gonna be?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Right now, I had dressed as Alice for this last show, but I have another Alice, like a different Alice in Wonderland costume. So I'm gonna be, but it's like a trippy one, kind of like mushroom psychedelic themed one. So I'm gonna dress up
Yeah.
as that for Halloween.
Oh, cool. Bad. And Josh, you got anything up your sleeve?
Well, on the note of Bonds, they do a Halloween bash every year, so I'll be there this year. I've been going as, if you're familiar with Naruto, one of the Akatsuki guys. They wear that
Yeah.
black cloak with the red clouds and stuff, with
Yeah.
the headband. That's normally
Cool.
what that's been me for the past couple years.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
badass, man. I love how you get in the spirit. This is my time of year. I love the holidays. Me being a family guy, I got a couple of kids. My grandson just turned 5 today. Happy birthday, Grayson. And I love the moments, man. Life goes by so fast, guys.
Hmm.
I just turned 54 just last week, and I feel like I've been such blessed with such a great life because I've been able to see metal take all this. When I was 13, I was hearing Metallica for the first time, and so I was able to experience all that shit, and it just kept getting heavier and harder every year. Everybody kept raising the bar, and things just kept on getting a little bit crazier, and it was just a great experience, and the genres that just broke out from all that was just a hell of a ride, man. And I love the ride that I've been taking on. And when I first saw Kiss in '79, I wanted to be Gene Simmons. So
Mhm.
it's just one of those things that you kind of feel when you see somebody inspirational like that on stage. That's your calling. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And you guys have
Yep.
felt that calling. And so being up on stage and putting the production you got into it, the energy and the power, it just leads to bigger and better, massive and more fucking creations, man. I can't wait. I want to finish things off tonight with my favorite segment called Draw the Line. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions, but I want to give a shout out to some friends that are jumping in the studio. Shout out to Eddie from Zombie King, Shay Pinkerton, Chris Garcia. Chris, the featured band's name is Mass of Amara. And Parker Curry, Do you like Bray Wyatt? Yeah, the wrestler. Yeah, hell yeah. We're down. We're down. Okay, so let's get to draw the line. First question, I'm gonna hit you with Preston, and we're gonna go around Preston to Ella to Josh. First one right here. You tell me who you'd prefer to see if they were both in town. Because in San Antonio, sometimes you get some tough decisions with the great artists that drop into town.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kill Switch Engage versus Mastodon for you, Preston.
Mastodon, easy.
Bam. All right, Ella, same too.
Mastodon. Yeah.
Mastodon. Okay. And Josh.
Yeah, I have to agree. Though I do love some Howard Jones. That's my boy.
I love it, man. And I feel the same way. He just has that stage presence, man. And
he's got the soul.
Soul. Yeah. You nailed it, brother. You nailed it. I love Jesse. Jesse Leach is heavy as fuck. He started it. He's the roots. He's the man right now. But when Howard Jones came, man, he definitely brought some soul, all right. Love that. Okay, let's go to our next one. Preston, Pantera versus Mudvayne.
Oh, Pantera.
I try to keep it even as a 4-piece. You know what I mean? I don't want to put them against a dual guitar band because, dual guitar bands fucking are heavy as fuck. But, when you got Dimebag.
Exactly. That's all you have to say, dude. It's just Dimebag. And it's like that. Well, Dimebag and Vinny. I mean,
yeah,
I was, fortunate enough. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to catch Vinny, I think 2 times at a show. Once at River City Rock Fest, once at the Aztec Theater when he was playing in Hell Yeah before he died. So at least I got to see Vinny Paul in person. But so yeah, Pantera, easy. Fuck
yeah. And you know what? I was at that same River City Rock Fest when they kicked ass with Hell Yeah on the main stage with Bullet for My Valentine.
Yes.
And Disturbed. Yes. Fuck yeah.
That's the one.
Scorpions and all that. It was a great show, man. It was a good one. Megadeth, of course.
I still got those clips, man.
Oh, fuck yes. Fuck yes. Okay, Ella. Mudvayne versus Pantera.
Pantera, for sure. Yeah. I don't really listen to Mudvayne too much. So I know more Pantera than Mudvayne.
Berberting.
Okay. Well, vocalist to vocalist. Who do you like? I know you say you don't hear too much Mudvayne, but you got an idea of what Chad Gray sounds like. Who do you prefer, Chad Gray or Phil?
They both have their talents. They're both very skillful. Phil can really go up there, but like Chad has like the freaking awesome, like aggressive kind of screaming and all that stuff. So that's really hard. I don't know. Because like as far as like skills, they're both very talented. But I mean, if I wanted to have, I'm going to look at it as if I wanted to have him in my band.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably choose Chad, to be honest.
I had a feeling you would go there. Yeah. He's such the expression. You hear the agony in his vocals when he's fucking hurting and singing some of these songs, and he's got such an amazing range. He's an amazing vocalist, and I think that's what makes Mudvayne. It was right there.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Josh? Pantera versus Mudvayne?
I gotta go Pantera, brother.
All right.
But I have
a southern accent.
I have friends. That swear by Mudvayne, and I haven't dug too deep into their catalog. But from what I've heard, besides like the radio hits, it's like for that time, like they were big. It's like pretty progressive and pretty dark and deep. Like,
for real,
pretty out there for that period of time. So yeah,
you nailed it exactly, man. And they were definitely like that. And there wasn't anybody that was taking it to that. Of course, you had Periphery that was kind of coming out around that same time that Mudvayne had released their second album, I think. And they were just kind of making everything, they kind of call it math metal. They were the first ones that kind of really, got that kind of tag back then, besides Meshuggah. And the way they were able to deliver still kept it very, very 90s new metal.
Yep.
Where it was still friendly without it being too progressive or being too mathy. So that's what I did like about Mudvayne was really Chad Gray, and I really dig the drummer. He's fucking awesome. The drum work that happens there, and their bass player is a beast of a bassist as well. So let's hit these next two right here. Lamb of God versus Metallica. New school versus old school. What do you think, Preston?
Oh man, dude.
Because 20 years from now, Lamb of God's gonna be playing in that fucking in Arlington Arena. You know what I mean? A Dallas Stadium with the fucking circle stage that Metallica has now, or something even crazier than that.
You know, bro. Look, I got the Metallica box set right there.
Oh fuck!
So,
hey,
dude, it's Metallica all day, dude. I mean,
all right, fuck yeah.
But I fucking love Lamb of God, though, dude. Like, when I first heard "Laid to Rest," I mean, that like shifted
hooks,
like something in my brain, and I was like, "Yo, this song is super sick." Yeah, like it's really hard to choose, but Metallica, I wouldn't be right here in this seat talking to you if it wasn't for them. So they got my soul, man.
They got you. All right, Ella, how do you feel? Lamb of God-ish or Metallica-ish?
They both hold a special place in my heart because I had a Metallica phase. You know, I love Metallica. You know, they're amazing. But I would pick Lamb of God because they also, when I listened to Lamb of God, that's when I started to really get nudged more into like learning how to scream because of Randy. So I'm gonna pick Lamb of God for sure. Yeah.
Very fucking tight. Love that reason. Hell yeah. Josh, what do you think out of those two big bangers right there? Heavy hitters.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think everyone has a Metallica phase. Like, let's just be honest. If you're a musician or listen to metal, you have a Metallica phase. So I was there, and I feel like, not that I outgrew Metallica, but I had just heard the song so much. I learned all the solos. Like, I was like, okay, I need something new. And that's when I discovered like Lamb of God, Gojira, Meshuggah, Mastodon. That's when I like kind of started branching out a little more.
Yeah.
And when I started learning the Lamb of God songs, I was like, okay, it's not just the solos in Metallica songs are a little tough, but the rhythm stuff is like, not the hardest. But you try to play Lamb of God rhythm, and it's like, oh, this is interesting. Like some of their riffs are, they got these twists and turns, and I think right now I'd say Lamb of God, but when I'm growing up, Metallica for sure.
I loved all of that, Josh. Hell yeah, very well said, man. Because it's kind of like when I think back of my origin and a lot of my other friends around here. When we first started out in bands, when we were kids, we started a punk band, and as we got better instruments, we went and turned into a metal band, and as we got even better, we turned into a really finer heavy metal band, and where we really cared about everything: the notes, the rhythm, the vocals. We had to be in tune. The vocals had to, had to put some melody to it. Everything started up in the game. And it's because you had somebody like Metallica out there that always fucking set that bar higher. And, they're definitely, when they say Papa Hit, he's definitely Papa. Sure. We've had Black Sabbath, but in my generation, it was more Metallica. And there's definitely a Metallica phase for all of us headbangers because, there's something that, either it's going to be the old school, or it's going to be something, that new metal phase they had, or maybe something that you count on to them later into maybe one of these last two albums. But something about them, if you like metal, you're going to like something that Metallica's done in their fucking catalog, especially the early stuff.
Yeah.
So let's jump to these two 90s fucking powerhouses. What do you think about these two, Preston? Soundgarden versus Tool.
Man. I'm gonna have to say Tool, because I heard them very interestingly in I was at work one day, and I was maybe like 14, 15. No, I was 16.
You remember where you were when you first heard them?
So I used to work at Whataburger, and I was on break, and I was on Facebook, and I saw that Tool was coming to town, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to go to this show. But I've never heard them. Like, just the imagery or like the trippy shit that they have. Yep. I just saw Tool, and I was like, that seems like a really cool concert to go to. I'm going to go. And so I bought CDs to listen to in my car because I didn't have Bluetooth in my first car. And when I heard the album 10,000 Days, I played that album start to finish, and when I heard the song Right in Two, when that guitar riff starts in the beginning, I literally picked up my guitar and like wrote a riff based off of that riff, and that became my very first song I ever wrote that I recorded and released in my very first band around that same time.
Oh,
So
fuck, badass.
yeah, Tool over I don't even remember what other band you said. So Tool. Easily.
Hey, that's a killer story. I love that. So what do you think, Ella? Did you like those two bangers from the 90s?
Oh yeah, I love Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell is amazing, but the thing is, like, I do know more Tool than Soundgarden, you know.
All right.
But it's hard. For me, it's just having to choose in between those two vocalists because Maynard is awesome, Chris Cornell is amazing, super emotional and everything. But I do like Maynard's lyrics too, so. And actually, Tool did inspire like some of my own lyrics, like in the beginning. So like, I would honestly say Tool. Yeah.
He's one of those vocalists that is fucking writing shit that is way up there for that third eye.
But you know what? Like let's just give props to Soundgarden too. I mean, like, I love Soundgarden. Dude, like, there's. I mean, come on! Like, they even have some proggy sections too, man. For being like the grunge, you know, in the grunge era and stuff, they got some proggy sections too, man. So. Yeah,
and super proggy and groovy, and just you know, they got some twist on just like in a hit like Outshine. You know what I mean? They got some twist on that song. So, what do you think about that, Josh? Who do you favor out of them two bands?
Tool. If I'm being real, like. Yeah. I haven't heard much of Soundgarden besides like the hits.
Okay.
But yeah, Chris Cornell, one of the probably greatest singers of all time. So they got that. But yeah, I got to go with Tool. Now, if it was like Tool or Linkin Park or something, that'd be a little different. Maybe I have to go Linkin Park. I don't know. They were one of those gateway bands for me.
Oh, no kidding. So you got Linkin Park's got a special place for you?
Yeah, that is like in middle school. Like, I was going through like my skater phase, and I was like listening to like System of a Down and Linkin Park and like that early 2000s, late 90s stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There's something about that era of my life. When I listen to that music, it brings me back. Good times.
Takes you back, man. That's what music is, a soundtrack of our life, man. Music history is one of the most important things that I like about doing a podcast like this, because we have moments like this where we can kind of talk about, you know, those eras and, you know, part of our childhood where this was just, it was there. And that's what led to getting to where I am today. So let's talk about these other two big ones right here who might have been into that same mix we were just talking about, Josh. But Preston, what do you think about Deftones versus Korn?
Korn, easy.
Korn, easy. Okay.
Easy. And I'll tell you why, again, like another similar life-changing moment.
All right.
I was at home, I was listening to Coming Undone, and I was like, dude, I need to learn that da-da-dun, dun, da-da-dun, dun, dun, right? And I was like tuning my 6-string guitar, and I was like, I just kept dropping the string. I'm like, dude, how low do I need to go? Like, so I like looked up a tab, and then I saw the extra 7-string, and I was like, oh,
no wonder.
There it is.
Fuck,
and then immediately I was like, okay, at some point I need to get a 7-string. That was it, and I have it, and it's right over there to the side. So,
hell yeah, Korn all day then. All right, Ella, what do you think? Korn or Deftones?
Korn.
There's another killer vocalist right there that's got a tremendous amount of dynamics. Chino right there is
both
amazing,
of them,
especially live, delivering it live too.
Yeah, for sure, both of them. But I'm gonna go with Korn because they were like, because I was my first rock band that I ever listened to was Guns N' Roses. I was obsessed with them for like the longest time. But then I was like, okay, there's more to life than this. And that's when I started getting into Korn. Like, I heard Korn for the first time, along with Marilyn Manson. And those were that was my playlist. Like all of middle school, beginning of high school was just Korn and Marilyn Manson. So it's just
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick. But they also like hold another special place here. So yeah.
Very cool. Hell yeah. Josh, what do you think? Corn or Deftones?
I gotta go with Deftones on this one.
That, I figured that was in the background of your skating days right there too, right?
Yeah, it kind of was. I did have a little Corn phase though, where I had to learn the falling away from me riffs.
All
'Cause that goes
right.
hard.
Fuck
But
yeah.
I don't know. Deftones, I feel, is more my style. It's more chill. Like you can
Yeah.
listen to it and fall asleep. They got the clean melodies. Corn is a little more trippy, in my
Yeah.
opinion. They got the weird noises. Deftones is a little more, not to say musical, but it just catches my ear more. And their
I
newer
get it.
stuff it reminds me of Meshuggah a little bit. There's some of their new stuff, like on the H strings. And they have like I don't know. They did something crazy on the last couple albums, a little more modern. But Deftones.
Deftones, man. Carpenter on the guitar. I mean,
Oh yeah.
guitarist
Stefan,
Stefan, right, man? He does some great stuff on guitar, man. I love what he's able to come up with, and I always am intrigued with bands' writing processes and how they get together. And a band like what I've heard about them is they're another band kind of like Tool, where the music's all made and then they ship it all to the vocalist and then he makes it from them. And in that one, it's a little different, where there's a little bit more interaction, but they kind of bounce back a lot of the ideas with each other. And Carpenter always kind of seems to come up with just some really cool magic. He really has some great fucking ideas. It really sets them apart from all the other bands that have been able to stand the test of time, so still be around, 30 years later. So much prop to those guys. So I got one more for you. This one right here is probably two bands that are very dear to your heart. We've talked about them tonight, but let's see who you favor. Is it going to be Gojira or Periphery tonight, Preston?
Fuck, dude. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Guys with, their name hadn't come up yet.
I'm going to have to go with, my French family, man. Gojira, man. I think they've done more for me musically as far as influence than Periphery has. But I definitely do draw a lot of influence from Periphery. But Gojira has that darkness and that kind of sadness, that like sad vibes, whatever you want to call it, more emotional vibes. Rather than Periphery is just like, we're a bunch of gamers and some music nerds and we're just making jazzy, heavy jazz breaks and shit, And I love that. I love that shit. Like I remember when they released their new album and Josh sent me Wildfire and I listened to it. As soon as it hits the jazz break, I'm like, why? Like, of course they would do this. But you listen to Gojira and I don't know, it's spiritual almost. Like listening to Gojira just has a spiritual effect and just like almost like you're in a trance. And I haven't seen Periphery live, but I've seen Gojira live and that was one of the greatest concerts ever. Easy.
Yes. Was it that last run that they did with Mastodon?
Yep, the one, the poster that's right behind Josh.
Fuck yeah. So Ella, tell me, who do you favor out of them two?
Gojira, for sure.
Gojira.
Oh yeah. I don't really listen to Periphery. I'm not into the vocalist. Don't really like his style. Sorry.
Yeah.
can't really get into the vocals.
Kick her out.
Gojira for sure. Amazing. They're like another super extremely talented band. You just kind of like, I don't know. It's just amazing. Oh man, my headphones are dying. So sorry if I cut out. But they're just like one of those things that it's like you don't know if there's gonna be more people like that again. You know what I mean? It's just like the talent that they have, the passion that they have. It's just they're a huge inspiration for sure for me. Like for as well as writing, they've been a great influence on my stuff, and I'm all into like the spirituality of things, and Joe likes to like delve into that with his lyrics. So Gojira all day, and I'm gonna see them at the end of the month with Korn. So
fuck
I'm freaking
yeah.
excited for that. Yeah.
That's fucking Corn knows what's up to get them on the
Yeah.
package right there. They know that's gonna
Mhm.
fucking sell out. That's the shit.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Josh?
That's a really tough one for me.
Mhm.
They're both in like my top 5 bands, I would say.
Yeah.
And if you listen to like my songs that I write, you can definitely hear influence heavily from both bands. Um,
Big time.
so I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I think Gojira is like a monster of its own, and they have huge, crazy parts in their music. And
Yeah.
Joe is probably my main influence. Like when I try to sing, he's one of my main influences. Uh,
Cool.
so yeah, there's that. But Periphery are like innovators, like in the scene. They've done crazy things, like making plugins and drum samples and the whole
Mhm.
live show that they have where their laptop, kind of like how I was explaining, their laptop changes their amp patches for them. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I feel like they're like the
The
modern day,
state of the art.
they're like the Apple of the music scene, kind of
For
always
real.
like on top of everything, gear wise. And that
Yeah.
Mhm.
that translates to how they sound and how their records sound. So I don't know, I can't really
And
choose one. It's a tough one for me.
not to mention, I think we pull a lot of Periphery influence just how we run our shows. Like 3 guitar players, bass player in the track.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. But yo, Tony, I'm gonna flip the game on you, bro. I got a band, 2 bands for you.
Okay.
Meshuggah or Death?
Say again. Who's the first one?
Meshuggah.
Meshuggah or Death?
And you know what? We're gonna hear from everybody too.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna have to go with Death, and I'm gonna tell you why. I just got. I really love Death. I love where they came from, that Florida fucking old school metal scene. How things progressed from Scream Bloody Gore, because I love that Scream Bloody Gore kind of
Mhm.
Yep.
you know, it has that real good pit, circle
Yes.
pit kind of beat
Uh-huh.
that I love. And then things started getting a little heavier, where they started putting that more of like a, where they did that death metal fucking, that pick with the double bass. Obituary is really famous for now, but you know, they kind of were the innovators when it came to death metal right there.
Mhm.
Um, but I love what Meshuggah brought to the table, where they just they fuck with your ear, but they had such a great tone, and the vocals, they were so fucking brutal that it kind of like, oh fuck, those guys are bad as fuck. Who are these
Mhm.
motherfuckers? There's some fucking smart guys to be able to write this shit like this. Can they do it live? Well, I seen them do it live at fucking Ozfest, and I was like, fuck, man,
Mhm.
they're fucking amazing. Love the drums, the way everything was just put together. It was like, it's Fear Factory squared. You know, what Fear Factory, put together, that techno industrial sound
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there on the money. They just like, oh yeah, boom, and amazing. But I'm gonna have to go with Death, because I am old school, and I grew
Mhm.
into that Chuck Children of Love, and that history, and with Leprosy, and fucking especially Spiritual Healing was one of my favorites. And it just
Yes.
kept on getting a little
Yeah.
bit more trickier. And then when he put Painkiller out, doing his version of one of my favorite songs from Priest, like, ah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So I'm
great
going Death.
Yeah.
All right, let's go, Josh. What do we got?
Uh, yeah, I gotta go with Meshuggah. But Chuck is a beast.
Fuck
Chuck
yes.
is a beast. So yeah.
Meshuggah it is. Hell yeah.
All right,
Ella, what do you
Ella.
think?
For me, Death for sure. I had a Death phase too. Like
Oh
Chuck is
shit.
amazing, and I
There
freaking
is.
it sucks because like I wish he was still alive because
I know.
I also believe he did so much for metal. Like
Yeah.
I can hear so much influence from Death. Like
Mhm.
Gojira has influence from Death. I hear that
100%.
all the time in their music.
Right.
Like
Yo,
and just like every album is so good. Like every album is different. Like that to me is like the definition of like progressing with your music abilities, and Chuck did that
Yeah.
with like every album. It was just better and better and better. Like he really pushed himself. Like you can tell he just lived every day for music. Like you just hear it in the
Right.
music. I love
Yeah.
it. I love Death. Yeah,
Rest in
Yep.
peace, Chuck. We miss you so
Mm-hmm.
much,
for
man.
real.
We miss that
Yeah,
spirit, that fucking and all the great fucking riffs and the love. And he was such a
yeah,
fan of the music, and
yeah.
I think that's what makes us musicians the real from the ones that are just going for the ride, the ones that aren't going to be playing next year, the one that just bought a
Mm-hmm.
guitar because their friend bought a guitar and he's jamming, but they're not going to be playing next year. I'm talking about all of us right here that we couldn't be doing anything else if if we couldn't help it.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what we're put here for. And
Yep.
you guys delivering what you got in Massive Amara is fucking beautiful. And I think this is a great way to end the show today because we were able to talk about some of our favorite bands right there. And I like
Yep.
the way you threw that at us right there. That was a nice left turn for me right there, Preston. Way to go.
So
And
real quick, let me throw my 2 cents in. So I'm gonna say Death too. And by the way, fun fact: Ella has a Death sticker on her car. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Death too. What I was gonna tag on with what she was saying is that
okay.
in other metal bands you can hear Death influence in there.
Yeah.
Like on YouTube, Bless the Algorithm was when Gojira was originally Godzilla back in the early days of their career, and they have an EP on there of them playing, tech death basically before they became Gojira, and there's so
Yeah.
much death in there, so much death. Joe even sounds like Chuck sometimes. Like I showed it to Ella, and we were like, yeah, there's a lot of death influence in there.
Oh, that's a shit.
But yeah, no, the Sound of Perseverance, I think,
Yeah.
is the few songs off that one, like Spirit Crusher and Voice of the Soul, like those two are like my go-tos. Just so good.
Fuck
So
yeah,
good, man.
so good. And so much that's metal royalty right there, man. Chuck,
Mm-hmm.
we miss you so much. There's gonna be one hell of a concert. Just to name a few, we got guys like Peter Steele that's holding down some of the best fucking bass. You got Paul Gray, who's holding down some fucking mean bass. You got Joey Jordison up there on the kit. We got so many greats that are waiting up there to jam. And you got on vocals, you got Dio, you got fucking another fucking 4-string killer, Lemmy. We've got Dime waiting for us. We got Randy waiting for us. So many great fucking artists, man. It's heartbreaking, but at the same time, when it comes to music, we're able to leave that legacy behind for everybody to fucking enjoy, and that through the ether is gonna be there forever, brother.
Amen.
Forever. So
Thank you.
fucking cheers and congratulations on a great fucking piece of work right there. It's just another chapter in hopefully a long successful career in Massive Amara for all y'all. But don't sometimes what I gotta say, a long illustrious career together, sometimes guys like me, I wanted to be with my only band and stay with the only band forever, but their schedules were so complex. I would only practice maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, so I had to start another band. Are you guys? Do you have itches for other bands? Is that something that maybe, like, is anything gonna ever? Do you have like another some more riffs in the back of your head, like you and Preston and Josh, where it's like, you know what, I want to kind of do a death metal band.
For me,
or
I mean,
maybe
like,
Ella's like, you know what, I want to do something thrashy this next time around, or with another group of guys, because you guys got all the talent. So it's just a matter of, are you able to get everything you need out of Massive Amara, or is there going to be no holds barred where, as things progress, who knows where everything could go?
that is a wonderful question because we've had talks about this before, I just think, like, right now we just kind of just doing what we do, like just kind of creating and just kind of seeing what comes naturally.
Yeah.
There is a side of me that wants to write shit like fucking Lorna Shore or fucking, Fit for an Autopsy, where it's just
You get that
super
itch.
fast blast
Yeah.
beats and fucking just going crazy. And then there's a side of me that wants to write just extremely like 8-string disgustingness, like a band like Black Tongue, and
Oh shit.
dude,
Yeah.
like, and the thing is like with me, I can write that shit on my own all day and just have it kind of ready to go, but I wouldn't really push for it quite yet, unless like we
Hear
get
that,
into a
all right.
spot where, in MOA we can, go on tour, do a cycle of touring or whatever, and then we have downtime is probably when I'll look into maybe doing something on the side. But right now it's not really in the cards for me. It's just we got to get MOA, off the ground and trying to get this going. That's how I look at it.
That sounds good. And I hope I didn't put a distracting kind of question in the mix, man, because
no, that's a great question.
Well, it's when it comes to rehearsing and stuff like that, like I said, I'm a weekend warrior over here, and I need to get out and sing. It's part of what makes me feel good. And if I can't get together with my band, at least once a week, I'm gonna want to jam with somebody else that can get together at least once a week, so we can, I can get that out and keep expressing, even if it's going to be on a different tip, maybe a different kind of sound. But I itch for that kind of stuff. But considering this is still a baby, 2 years,
right?
It's still, you got the visions there. You got so much more to grow. Keep it going. Keep rocking this motherfucker. I hope to catch you up in San Antonio, or even don't be surprised if maybe I'm looking probably in January to put something together over here, maybe at the House of Rock. So let me hit you guys up, and maybe if schedules work out, we can team up and do something over there downtown at the House of Rock and have a fucking great show. It'd be a great venue for y'all.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Ella, do you want to talk about what you've been cooking up on the side?
What you got, Ella?
Oh yeah. I like writing my own music just because I love metal, but I like everything music. I love everything. So like I like, there is a very big part of me that wants to hear something else come out of me as far as like music. So not just metal. I don't just hear that. So I like to use a lot of my synths, and because I like using synths, and right now I'm like learning how to like make patches and stuff like that. So like I actually do write my own music on the side. That eventually I do want to like release my own solo stuff, but for now it's just like for fun, just because like when they're busy writing songs, it's like I still have an urge to do something, to create something. So I'm writing my own stuff on the side, then eventually we'll get out there.
Very fucking cool. I figured, and that's why the kind of question came up, because sometimes we artistically we have a band where we can put out part of what we really want, but also it's like, what, I kind of would like to do this too, but I just hadn't met the right people that want to do that too. So sometimes you have to make the best of what you have in front of you, and seizing the moment. You guys coming together, getting all the pieces together for Master Amara. You guys have got such an awesome thing already coming to life, and just shows a lot of evolution still to be shown. So considering where Army of Me got things started, when you hit back into going into the second banger Rebirth, and then going into sometimes I do smoke a little bit, so sometimes so hitting into Rebirth and then coming back hard, man, dropping the single for Unsmoken and then hitting the whole EP version. I'm really proud of what you guys have been able to accomplish in a short amount of time, and you being able to get so much work done in your own studio there, Preston, is just going to be able to keep this beast just growing bigger and badder. And I'm anxious to see where the production level of the stage show keeps growing, and with that power and energy behind it, it's just going to be fucking powerful punch. So that's why I want to make sure we team up again, because I really like the diversity of the sound, and I'm a big fan of Joseph, man. Joseph, I'm a drummer at heart, so whether it's him doing his violin practice, but what he's got going on right now has me really turned on to what is so unique in your guys' sound. and you really got something special going on having Ella with the vocals, her writing and the cleans that she has, and really the ferocity of her brutal vocals will set you apart from everybody else that's out there.
Mhm.
So continue the magic, y'all. And
Well,
for my
thank you, man.
listeners that are out there, thanks to you guys who have been watching from YouTube or on Facebook, to our friends that were in the studio, thanks a lot, Eddie from Zombie King, Parker Curry, Chris Garcia, Shay Pinkerton, and to all you that haven't said anything in the studio, please chime in next time and let me know who you are. Always want to know who is watching the show. Let us know if you like it, subscribe to it. But please check out the Instagram for Master Amara. Go to the Facebook for Master Amara. Give them a follow and give them a like. And go to their YouTube page. Subscribe to their channel. Check out their videos. Is there going to be another video maybe coming up?
That's a secret.
I figured we're getting to about that, that stage right now where maybe there's something else brewing to like another single to be released from there. Good. All right.
There's nothing going on.
All right. Well, I know you guys got something cooking anyway. If you're watching, you can read the body language that Preston's throwing out right now. And so get ready for another single, but you're not going to know about it unless you go to their YouTube, go to their Facebook, go to their Instagram, give them a like, give them a follow, and go listen to the Massive Amara Through the Ether EP. It's a fucking jam, man. Put it on your playlist, give it a like, add it to your library, and get ready for some more. Hopefully we'll be seeing Massive Amara here in Corpus, but if not, we got so many people that go out of town to San Antonio, to Austin. Catch them at Come and Take It Live, and catch them in San Antonio. Fitzgerald's going to be one of the spots. But definitely go out there and support my friends at Massive Amara. Preston, thanks a lot for being on the show tonight. Ella,
dude,
thanks
thank
for
you for
returning.
having me.
Josh, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'd love to have you guys back. Let's do it again. Maybe same time next year. Maybe we got some more material to talk about and some more things some stories to share.
Absolutely, man.
Yes,
that sounds good.
Yeah.
Kick ass. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching the Tony Gomez Show, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right, hold on one second.